All right, I think we're recording. Hello, Lioness. How are you? This is Catherine Cooper. I am your financial coach and strategist with the Lair Studio, where the Lair stands for Lioness Academy for Income Restoration. And we're here, we are coaching women who are ready to increase their income by reclaiming their identity, voice, and ability. Basically, we are helping you take your purpose and turn it into passion and turn it into profits as well. And so I am here tonight. I am so excited for our third video on our video series for Lioness Rise. I am here with my very dear friend. I love her so much, Akilah Pitts. Woo woo! I'm not even gonna do any justice trying to describe what she does. She has been a mentor. She's been a friend. She's been, she doesn't call herself a coach, but she has been a coach when she doesn't realize it. She has taught and trained, and she has walked this out with me with business and just a lot of different things, being a mom and being a woman and woman of God. And I just love her so much. So I'm so excited to have her here because ladies, you're in for it. You're in for a treat. She's got a lot of wealth and wisdom and knowledge to give and share, and her heart is to share it. So I just want you to welcome Akilah Pitts with me. Woo woo! If I had music in the background, it'd be like, woo! Yes, spirit fingers. Akilah, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I am so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. Excited
to
chat.
Explain to the women, you know, who you are, what you do, what you got going on, because there's no way, I mean, I can't keep up with you half the time. Like, so you outdo me, that's for sure. But you are way more organized than I am. So
we're gonna
go
get
ahead
you
and
there.
share.
We'll get you there.
I'm in recovery, guys. Pray for me.
Well, hello, everybody. As Kathy said, I am Akilah Pitts. And I guess you could say at this point now, I kind of have two sides to the roles I played as far as business is concerned. On one end, I help to manage online businesses. On the other end, I mentor moms who want to start and grow an online service-based business without losing their family in the process, which I really think is key to that. So
yes, especially nowadays.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
yes.
That right there is what I do in its simplest form. So I am still somebody who works behind the scenes of other people's businesses, but also I have taken the knowledge that I have gained over the last 6 years of doing that in one capacity or another to help other moms who want to start a business be able to start it off on the right foot so that they don't make the same mistakes that I've seen in the past. So that's
and I'm sure I'm sure that you're sharing a lot of your trial and error too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're so grateful.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Depending upon what stage you're at, you know, even though you see what's going on, sometimes you make similar mistakes. But
yes,
learning from them is the best approach to take, and then learning from other people so that you don't repeat those things over and over again. I think in the beginning I was just kind of like how newbies are. They get overzealous and they only hear part of the story and want to take it and run with it, and then, you know, bump their head up against a couple things.
Yeah. So brick walls.
Yeah.
Hurdles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cement
so
blocks.
Yeah, those are the points where I learned the hard way. So that's why I'm telling the women now, you know, focus, take one step, you know, that type of thing, because it's easy to be pulled in several different directions prematurely.
Yes. Oh gosh, don't I know it? Don't I know it too? Well, we're doing the series Lioness Rise, and it's 31 days. You know, the challenge that we have on our website, thelairstudio.com. The challenge that we have on there, it's a study basically, and it's 31 days to becoming a woman of increase and impact. I firmly believe, and here at the Lair, we firmly believe that as you heal, as you grow, as your heart develops, we become more impactful. And where there's impact, you attract more increase into your life. And we teach that increase is not just finances, it's also opportunities, relationships, health, wellness. I mean, just all the things that prosperity truly means. So today's session, video 3, stands for the acronym. We have the acronym RISE. And so the first video was on R, Reclaim Your Power. The second video I taught yesterday was on I, Ignite Your Purpose. And today's video is on S, Strategize Your Plan, because I really believe that part of we get to the point of self-discovery. We know who we are now. We know what we're about and what we're meant to do, but then we do nothing with it. We don't even know what the next step is. And I think you're an amazing teacher at creating processes and understanding how important the next step is. But before I go there, Akilah, I would like, if you don't mind, sharing a short version of how you got where you are. Did you just wake up one day and say, I'm going to work for myself? Did you work for other people? Did you, like, what was your journey in getting to where you are?
Well, basically what happened was, after I had my son, leading up to actually giving birth to my son, we were praying about me coming home and things of that nature. But once I had him, it was, I was focused on him for a couple of years, and then we had our daughter. And so between the two of them, it was maybe like a course of, I want to say about 5 years or so that I had been home. But then
now, they're not babies either, right? No, I just want to interject that these are teenagers now we're talking about. So this was years ago. Yeah.
One's 11 and one's 13. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
I can't even believe they're that old already.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, girl. So basically, when it came time for the youngest to transition out of, like half-day school, she was going to pre-K. I knew that she was going to be going to school for a full day the following year. And so at that point, nobody, as far as kids, would be home, and up until that point, that's why I was staying home, to be home with the kids. But I didn't feel like I necessarily needed to go back to work at that particular time. I didn't have a heart to go, like, I wanted to work, but I didn't want a job. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Like, there's a big difference.
Right.
And that's a whole other teaching.
Exactly.
I love how my mentor, God rest his soul, Miles Monroe, says, stop looking for employment and look to where you can be deployed.
Exactly.
That's a whole other teaching. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you can. So basically, we had talked about it, and also right around that time, we were going through our 21 days of fasting and prayer that we normally go through as far as our church is concerned. And my prayer was, what can I do from home? Because I really didn't feel like it was time for me to leave the house. And I really didn't have a desire to go anywhere and work anywhere like I did before. Like when we first got married, I was like, look, I didn't spend 4.5 years in college just to be chilling at the house. That was
chilling at the house. Meanwhile, all the stay-at-home moms and the moms,
right, exactly.
Like, what? Just
even I will admit,
like.
Yes, even I would tell you that I didn't have the right perspective at that time. My daughter was only a couple months at that time, and me and my husband had just got married, and so I had more of an ambition to want to go up the corporate ladder, all that different stuff. So I'm like, I ain't spent 4.5 years in college to be chilling at the house with.
Yeah.
So fast forward, now I'm saying, like, Lord, I want to stay home. I don't desire, like, there's no career path that I desire. What can I do from home to be able to still work, but still be available to my family at the same time? And even though this is almost 6 years ago, everything wasn't like readily out there. at that time for, oh, you could pick from this, you could pick from that,
Absolutely.
you know, all
You're
that
right.
different thing. We didn't have a whole buffet of choices.
Yeah, or a bunch of coaching classes or
Exactly.
mentorships or any of that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all brand new.
And at that time, also, the only exposure that we had to working for yourself was more from like a network marketing MLM format. Now, don't get me wrong, whoever's watching, I'm not downplaying it or anything like that, because I've seen people have successful careers, but it just wasn't something that was fitting for us. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
So in the midst of the 21 days of fasting and prayer, the Lord started leading me towards doing research as it pertains to blogs and doing like administrative work and all this different stuff. And then I came across the term virtual assistant. I had never heard of this term before. And so somebody like me who can get lost in research for days, I just dove in. I was like on YouTube, I was on Google, I was like, all this
in your happy place.
Exactly. I was a researching fool at that time. Like, oh, I could really do this. And then when the lady presented it as something that, you can do around your own schedule, you could create based around your own skills and abilities that you bring to the table, and how this was a career path, or not a career path, but this was something that offered other business owners a necessity, not a luxury. That's when it really started to take form and take shape. So I started looking to people who were more established in the VA industry and things of that nature to try to get a framework as to what my business was going to look like. Now, I will admit in the beginning, I got caught up in aesthetics. What's my brand colors going to be? What's my pictures going to look like? What's my website going to like? All that different stuff. I got caught up in that, which made the process a little bit longer when it came to actually going live. But I will tell you, the first thing I did was reach out to my daughter's preschool. They were getting ready to put some items up for sale on Craigslist, some things that they wanted to get rid of. And I reached out to the director and I said, why don't you let me do that for you? I'll go ahead and I'll take the pictures, I'll post them, I'll do all this stuff. Only thing I ask for you from you in exchange is a testimonial. And she was like, oh, I ain't got to worry about it. You'll filter the calls, you'll do all that. I said, yeah, because I'm trying to start a virtual assistant business. So I want to be able to bring this stuff forward as these are options that I could offer people and companies. So it just kind of went from there. And here we are. I opened up my VA business on July 7th of 2014. And it has taken shape and done all those good things. And here we are right now. So
you also mentioned that you do the other side of the spectrum as well for moms. So is that part of your VA as well?
Basically, a lot of the information and things that I gathered as a result of not only starting my VA business, but growing into an online business, project manager, and what I do now, I've learned not only the aspect of what it's like to start a business, but the successful things I've seen happen behind the scenes in order to really have a sustainable business, not just based upon what you're offering, but your mindset as well.
Oh, because you should have been here Monday for me and Zena's conversation.
I did catch that. Yes. The mindset around that is so different, because here's what I think many people miss. We all have the capacity in us to be able to make money, whether it's $5 or $500.
Say it again.
Whatever the case.
Say it again, because I really want the lionesses out there to get that point.
Yes.
You don't have to wait for it to come to you. You have the ability to make it.
You have it within you.
Create it. Absolutely.
Create money. The thing is, in order for you to have a true sustainable business, you got to have a certain mindset when it comes to different things, you know, when it comes to all different aspects of the business. And so, and then also you have to be wise when it comes to what you're going to allow to impact that mindset. Because see, you have these gurus out here who wants everybody to have a 6, 7, 8-figure business or whatever the case may be, which is fine. I'm not knocking that in any way, shape, or form. However, you got to understand there are some decisions that need to be made to get you to that point. And if you're trying to jump from 0 to 1 million, I need you to understand what that's going to look like and what that's going to demand. You see?
You got some Magic Mike sneakers on, because Michael Jordan is going to have to shoot that ball for you.
And see, depending upon who you follow, as my girls say, in these online streets, depending upon who you follow, they'll have you thinking you can make 10,000 by the end of the month. You know, there's a process in that, you know?
Yes.
And I never want to crush anybody's dreams or goals or anything like that. But just like the topic of this conversation, there's some strategies, there's a plan you got to have in place in order to get there, whatever your there is. Right. And so, when people don't have that realistic mindset when it comes to stuff like that, they feel like they can just open virtual doors and everybody just gonna come. You know, I'm just gonna
they're just gonna find me and I'm gonna be a YouTube star.
I'm just gonna
overnight.
Make it.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a check in the mail the next day from YouTube.
Exactly. Exactly. And when you're in business, you got to understand, starting out, you are the VA, you the accountant, you the graphic designer, you the web designer, you're
the bookkeeper,
right?
You're making decisions.
You know, you everybody on the list. And so you have to understand now more than ever, your time is limited. So you got to be well aware of what you're putting your hands to and whether or not it's the best use of your time in order to get forward, to be able to move forward the business that you're desiring to, get out in the world. So, okay.
Oh, no, that's good stuff. That's truth. That's facts, people, because, you just said so much in your story that I hope people are grasping and getting the meat of this stuff, because I'm like, I remember when I went through that, and even watching you and things that you've shared, like it has helped me, you know, when we talk about be careful who you follow, you know, sometimes we put ourselves under so much pressure, and we've talked about this, when we listen to certain voices and teachings that are great teachings, great voices, but it's not my season for that. Mm-hmm. And so I put myself under this pressure because I'm listening to instructions for something that it's in the wrong season of my life or the wrong season of my business. And, you know, like, yes, that's great. And I can take that information and put it in my back pocket. But if I take that information and I'm beating myself over the head trying to make it happen, but it's not my season, it's like putting a seed in the ground and looking at it going, why are you not a tree yet? Why are you not a tree yet? Why are you not a tree yet? And meanwhile, it's because I'm listening to voices that are saying, like you said, like I'm going from nothing to thinking I can make 10,000 in a month, instead of just realizing, well, how about you start with 1,000?
Right.
You know, like how about you start here first and work your way up in steps. And that's why the plan is so important. Part of my corporate job in stuff that I'm doing right now, I'm coaching and training on the 7 habits of effective people. And this week we're dealing with habit number 2, begin with the end in mind. And so I think this conversation is so timely, where we're talking about, if you're going to make a plan, first of all, you have to have a plan. You have to have a guiding principle with an end result and a picture of what it looks like, because when times like these, where change, chaos, and crisis hits, people, places, and things are going to try to pull you off and derail you from the path that you start on. And you start on with, we're going to start this great adventure, you know, and I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get out of debt. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get, whatever. And then something comes and crashes. Do we fall? Do we fall off? Do we, are we just wobbling a little bit? Like, you have to have that guiding post that leads you there so that you don't lose your way. And so I think it's amazing that, you know, how you shared, you had a process. You went through the process and you weren't scared. We were talking about yesterday, you know, igniting your purpose, that you walk through those opportunities and steps as they come. And you didn't rush from one thing to jump and think you had to skip the whole process. You actually walked it out and took your chance, took the risk, and took steps to that. So let's talk about strategizing a plan. What does that look like, you know?
One thing I think that, especially on the internet, one thing I think that we get drawn to is people who skip steps. You know what I mean? People who were able to get there without having to do.
We live in that society now, microwave society. Like they don't want to cook it. They don't want to be simmered. They just want it done.
Exactly. Yeah. And
flash frozen and done.
It's like, if you can make 10,000 in a month, I'm so happy for you. However, if you are not to the point where you can reproduce that on a monthly basis, then you need to evaluate the process. You know what I'm saying? It happens. It's just like when people go viral. Just because you went viral with one tweet does not mean you can reproduce that with every tweet that you put out there. It's that type of stuff that people don't think about. Now, when we're talking about strategizing and planning, one thing that I am, especially in the Mom and Online CEO community, I want us to have goals. I want us to know where we want to go, but I also want us to understand and plan for the steps that it takes to get there. And one thing that I notice, especially with a lot of newbies and things of that nature, is that they don't break things down like they should to be able to really get a grasp on how long things are going to take to get to that goal.
Yeah, girl, let's talk about that. And I'm not saying it for the ladies out there. I'm saying that for me, because I can get really unrealistic about my timetables.
Mm-hmm. And
then I put that pressure.
It's something that, happens even with like 6 to 7 figure entrepreneurs. Like one thing on my online business side that we do, like for example, I had a call with a client the other day, and she's like, "Oh, we got to do this. We got to do that. We got to do this." I want to do a webinar, and her and her coach had decided that the webinar would start on May 8th. I was like, so that's like the week after, next week, right? And this was one of those things where this is a new idea. So one, the content hasn't been created, neither have the slides, neither have the whole break.
Oh no, she had Akilah pit. She just needed to show up on the day on the calendar.
So it was like all this thing, and since we've been working together for almost a year, I know that her creative process kind of goes in spurts. Like when she's inspired, she can dig it out, but when she's not, she, it's a little bit more of a struggle. So to make this something that we're going to achieve in a week, no, not unless you're willing to bring in a copywriter or you're willing to bring in a graphic designer, and people to pick up those areas of weaknesses that can stop us, stop the train from going. So on the other side, when we're talking about the mom and online CEOs and those who are newer to business, where they're the one filling all those roles, again, you have to consider not only what the steps are to get things done, but whether or not you're even equipped to do all that stuff. And is that, what's going to be involved in that? For example, when I created the ebook, I didn't just put the ebook up. Like I had to draft the ebook. I had to proof the ebook.
How long did it take you realistically?
Find the template.
I have to say, you guys, if you don't have her ebook, which she'll tell us where to find it and how to get it, but her ebook is bar none so awesome, and it is so good. It is good content, easy read, and so appealing to the eye. And so, and she'll tell you where to get it and where to find it at the end later on. So you got to stay tuned. So if you want her book, you got to stay tuned to the end. But how long realistically did from conception to fruition did it take realistically?
For me, it took a week.
A week.
So
okay.
That Friday, and I'm gonna tell you why it took a week. That Friday, I started writing the draft, and I would say the draft took me maybe like a day and a half, because I do a complete brain dump of everything that I want to have on the topic, and then I kind of a bit, that type of thing, just like on a Google Doc or in my Notion or something like that. And then the next step was I had my husband go through it and proof it for me. Because there are times where I may get a little winded on this or something like that. And I wanted to be more conversational. So yeah, we went through that together. And then the thing that took me the longest was the formatting and design, because I wanted to be appealing to the eye. I want it to look nice, and then also what you draft on like a Google Doc or something like that, when you're actually transitioning that over to a design document, it's going to take a minute, because it's not the same. You're not comparing apples to apples. So one of the ways I cut it down was I purchased a ebook template. So I had a template. I just had to format it to my colors, add certain pictures, things like that. And then also I was playing around with how certain fonts looked, whether or not, I could get lost in stuff like that. And I know that. That's why I had to create a soft and hard deadline for myself. That's a whole nother topic.
Oh,
but I had to
write it down though, ladies, because it's necessary as part of the plan.
I had to create a soft and hard deadline for myself, because I wanted to make sure that this was something that got out to you guys quickly, because I saw the consensus in the group about this being an area of struggle. So once I got that done, I got it, like I practiced the done is better than perfect, type situation when it came to it. Does this look good? Okay, we're good. Then I downloaded the file, compressed it, made the PDF fillable, put it where I need to put it, and then I set up the sales page. I set up the order form. I set up everything that needed to be set up.
But do you see all the other steps?
Exactly. It's
not just, hey, I wrote a book, now I should be a best-selling author. There's just like a whole host of other steps that go with it.
Steps that have to go on. And see, since I do this for my clients, I'm realistic about the steps that it needs to take and how long it's going to take me. And the platform that I use, I'm certified in. So, that makes the flow a lot easier. But when you're talking about somebody who's new to the online space, or who does not have experience with working with different platforms to do what you need to do, you got to be realistic, because not only are you trying to get done what you need to get done, but you may need to learn the platform enough to get done with what you need to get done.
Yeah, as my friends say up in New York, they say we're building the plane as we're flying it. It's like you got to learn, building a website. So you're learning the whole program and software or whatever you're using and the hosting site. And then at the same time, adding content and doing things simultaneously.
Right. And if you're using what we call YouTube University, if you're using that, it may be that the video that you pull up doesn't cover the exact thing you need, the exact question that you need to answer. So you got to go research and other. So it's all that type of stuff that, plays a factor in that. But when you write on your task list, create an ebook, you're already
that's like, that needs
yourself
a task
up for
list
failure.
Of its own.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of times when people struggle when it comes to planning and stuff like that, it's because on their task list, they're writing projects that are actually that as tasks. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so,
big point. We have to make a point of that. There is
right.
a difference when you're making a plan. You have a plan that has projects, but then that project list, each item has to have a task list.
Yes,
There's
exactly.
a difference.
You got to break that
That
down.
Is so
and
true.
that's part of the reason why when you go to look at the list, you like, oh, I don't feel like doing that right now. Because it seems like it's so big, because it is bigger than what you wrote on that one line. You know what I'm saying? It's that type of thing. So you got to,
so good.
What's that saying? How you eat an elephant one bite at a time?
One bite at a time.
It's that type of thing. It's either you talk about the bites or you go and look at the elephant. It's one of the two. But when you look at the elephant, you're going to be like, oh, no, I can't do this. But when it's really broken down like that, it makes it easier for you to be able to take the necessary steps to get done what you need to get done.
I love how you said, Akilah, you just always help me with this. You always just tweak something just a little, and then it totally opens up everything for me. Like, this is how it goes. These are how our conversations go. I'm like, oh my God, because I have been writing lists all these years of projects. Mm-hmm. And then I procrastinate because I'm like, oh, that's too big. Oh, I don't have time. I know it's going to take a lot, and I don't have the time to do that because, I mean, I'm juggling the corporate job, the home, the family, and all the other things too. And then I go, okay, I'm going to get to that. And then when I get to it, it's like I get one or two things done because they're big projects. They're not tasks. Exactly. And so just being able to take that and then say, okay, now here's my list of projects. Let me prioritize my list of projects and then take project one and make a task list out of that, and then work off of that and eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah, that is so much simpler, because when you look at that one, I mean, when you're looking at it from a project standpoint, subconsciously, is more to it than what's on that paper.
Absolutely.
And you're going over in your mind like, oh, I don't feel like doing all this different stuff. But breaking that thing down and really looking at the steps to say, okay, what can I do today? I could do this, this, and this. And then I can come back and do this, this, and this, and just break it down. I'm telling you, it's a lot easier when it comes to stuff like that. That's why I love using the project management system that I use, because I have my task list. I can break it down and I can assign each individual step to me and break it down like that. Yeah.
That's so good. And, and the thing is, the key is for everybody to understand that this is not just for business. This is personal too. Like, you got to clean the house. We write clean the house. You already set yourself up. Exactly. Do my hair. And it's like, do my hair means I got to wash it, dye it, wash it, blow dry it, do whatever I got to do with it. Like, it's a whole process to these things. Like, it's not that just do my hair, Exactly. So that's so good. And how do we encourage people that are hearing what we're saying and already going, oh, that just seems overwhelming. Like, I don't even want to forget it. I don't even want to bother because that just seems like too much. Like, without them feeling hopeless, like they'll just be busy all the time.
Well, how I can bring it on down to the black and white.
Please. For people like me, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but for people like me that makes everything mountain out of a molehill, please. So help me simplify.
I guess the first thing I would say is if what we're talking about sounds like too much, compare it to how much you were able to accomplish when you were listing your projects as tasks. You weren't getting anything done.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The thing about it is one, it's different. So when we're up against any type of change, in the beginning, we'll try to think of reasons why it's not going to work. It's not going to work and things like that. However, if you understand that these are kind of like small wins to get you to your goal, then it's easier to comprehend. Let me do this today. Let's say you need to get a new job or whatever. Maybe today is the day that you actually search for job openings. And tomorrow may be the day that you actually apply. Or tomorrow may be the day you actually tweak your resume. The next day may be the day that you apply. The other day may be the day that you follow up. You know, that type of thing. That's a lot more doable than trying to do all that in a day. Let me find all these jobs. Let me apply. You know, all that different stuff is going to seem overwhelming. But break it down to a level where it's like, okay, I can do this today. This is what I can do today. You know, that type of thing.
That's good. Absolutely. That's encouraging. That's encouraging. Now, how do you, you know, like, if we talk about planning, strategize your plan, because I want them to understand that if we're talking about rising, becoming that woman of increase and impact, nothing happens without a plan. You need a guide of how you're going to get where you're trying to go. Otherwise, you're going to get distracted by all the shiny objects. As we like to say in business, squirrel, you know, like it's where you're just distracted by everything and anything that comes that pulls on your attention. And like I say, you have 3 resources: time, attention, which under attention we said is your energy, your emotions, you know, all the things that are internal, and then your finances. And so if you don't have a guide, if you don't have that guiding principle, the end in mind, and you don't have the plan on how to get there, you will be easily distracted, swayed, pulled. Other things will come and try to convince you, oh, I've got the best way for you to get there, or I've got the short path for you to shortcut it, or this or that. And truly, you're the only one that's the best architect, because God has designed you with the blueprint of how you should get there. And so you learn the different steps and different things you can do. But at the end of the day, you know what's best for you, right? I mean, you're going to know, your inner knowing, your intuition, your guidance, the Holy Spirit in you is going to know that. I like to say the peace umpire, you know, where's the peace? You're going to know, is this right for me? Is it not? If you're busy striving, if you're busy where it feels like you're pushing the door open, you're prodding, you're pulling, and then you're not doing it. Either you're not doing the right thing, or you're not doing the right thing in the right way. Because I've been where I've done the coaching, I've done the teaching, and there have been moments I've done it in ways that somehow, I mean, it just felt like a struggle. It felt like a pull, like I was dragging my feet in quicksand. And then I find it, you know, when I finally come to alignment with who I really am and what I'm really passionate about, and I give myself permission for that, then I find that there's a flow. It just flows freely. And so sometimes it's not that you're not doing the right thing, you're just not doing it in the right way. And so that's why the plan is so important, so that you can make sure it's your way of knowing that you're going to get there. But at the end of the day, and I want us to talk about this too, at the end of the day, we can have a plan, but God ordains our steps.
Absolutely.
So tell me about your experience with that.
So I think I might have shared this with you, the fact that when I first got the idea for Mom and Online CEO, that was in 2017.
3 years ago.
2017. And me and my husband talked about it, and he was on board for me to move forward. We were talking about how, you know, right now we had like one coming out of high school, we had one going into middle school, we had one in elementary. Like it was perfect timing. This is what we thought.
Because we only know things in part, right?
Right. This is what we thought. And so I was trying to come up with a name because I was like, I know I want to help moms. I know I want to help them start a business. What does that look like? And because of prior experience, I knew that I had to do my research as far as names concerned and all that different stuff. So when we finally landed on Mom and Online CEO, I bought the domain name and I was like, okay, let's go ahead. But every time I got ready to do something, wasn't flowing. Nothing was coming. I was looking around at other people. I'm like, maybe not. Maybe I don't know. It was like all that different stuff. And I really don't feel like I really didn't feel like I was an authority, so to speak. Like, I stay away from the C word altogether. Like that.
But you do, you coach. Coaching is it's guidance, support, and accountability. And you give us all three.
Girl, it's something about that word, but I stay more in the M word,
Yeah.
And just because my experience online, and so I just was like, I don't know, like it just wasn't flowing. So needless to say, I didn't take the action that I thought I was going to take, because I'm one of them people, when you get me going, I can bust it out, but it just wasn't coming. Like it just wasn't doing nothing whatsoever. And then we kept going. I was still working, doing my client work and all this different stuff. And every time I would think about it, it was like, nothing is coming to me. There's nothing, maybe this is not it, whatever the case may be. And honestly, I had actually got to the point where I was going to let the domain lapse.
Oh, wow.
Just last year, when it came time for the domain renewal, I had my little reminder. That this and my other domain was about to renew. And usually I would have it where I would go in and I would pay for, the next year or whatever. I had forgot that I had set it up for auto renew. So before I got ready to go in and cancel it, it renewed. And I was like, like I had an attitude.
Divine intervention.
Right.
God said,
I had a full attitude, like, I gotta
want to let it lapse.
Mind you, it's only like $14, but I'm like, seriously, for a whole nother year, like, really?
Listen, $14 is a pair of shoes at Ross, if you ask me, or a nice blouse.
Yes. So then when you talk about this whole thing that has happened recently in the last couple of weeks, and us having to come home and all this different stuff, I had this desire in me to want to help. How do I help? And that's when I started offering those virtual mentoring sessions, tutoring sessions. Who wants to learn how to work online? Who wants to learn the different online tools? What kind of questions can I answer for you and stuff like that? And so as I'm having these sessions, I'm feeling pulled more so towards moms, because not only are you having to learn how to do things online, you got to navigate your kids doing it too, And so as I'm having these meetings and having these conversations and things like that, now I'm seeing the need more than ever. And one day when I'm talking to my husband about it, it all came back like, whoo. And I was like, I had not thought about Mom and Online CEO, honestly, in probably about a year. It was just like, It all came back, and it was almost like the Lord was like, okay, now. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, now. And I mean, everything has just been rolling and rolling and rolling since. And it's crazy, because I almost let that go. Like, it was just like.
And he stepped in and was like, no.
The thing that really, you couple that with the fact that the Lord had gave me some areas to focus on this year. And back in January, as far as me investing in Ontraport, creating digital products, Facebook group, Instagram, me as far as like strategy. And then I'm thinking, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I'm thinking that this is coming from the perspective of the OBM side of the business, the Akilah Pitts part of the business. And so the struggle that I was having was like, I don't know if I want to have a Facebook group around that. I don't know if I want to do, it was kind of that type of thing. And then when Mom and Online CEO came about, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's what that was about. It wasn't about, about this over here. I'm like, oh Lord.
he made a pivot. And you were like, what? So, where are we going?
It has been very
Akilah? Think we lost you, Akilah? I think we lost Akilah. She may come off and come back on. The joys of technology sometimes. There we are.
We're back. I don't know what just happened.
There we are.
I don't know. Did you get
No, we didn't get what you were saying. You said the last thing we heard was I said he made a pivot, and you said that you were like, really? That's where we were going? You know, like because of the group, and you didn't realize it was for the mom.
Yeah, like online. I didn't realize any of that because, of course, Mom and Online CEO was not in my mind at that particular time. But now I'm like, boom. Oh, wow. I could see, I could see that. Yeah. And the thing about it is that, and this is something that I wanted to touch on when you were talking earlier. In order for us to really execute the plan, is going to involve a level of discipline. Because
I think we just lost our whole audience. Everybody said, shut down, not even bothering, don't even want to hear it. And this is where the coach comes out.
It is. It's going to involve a level of discipline, and it's going to involve a level of focus. Yes. I like that acronym, follow one course until successful. Because here's the thing, it's so much easier to do when you have your own business. It's so much easier to try something and be like, it don't work. This didn't work. Yeah. And, Instagram don't work. How many times did you post? I posted on Wednesday last week, and then I posted on Saturday 2 weeks ago. You know, that type of thing. It didn't work. And the thing about it is that if we're steady going through and trying to execute a plan, but steady throwing things out because we feel like it didn't work when we really didn't put enough work into it to get any type of result, then we're going to be jumping all over the place. And so it's the same thing when it comes to the opportunities that come across our path. Like, yeah, I can't tell you how many things have come across my path where I'm like, ooh, that looks so good, but it just ain't lining up. It's not lining up. Like, just a prime example. One thing I like to study up on is project management, because as part of being an OBM, you got to be able to manage projects and stuff like that. Well, a friend of mine.
Now, what does OBM stand for?
Oh, I'm sorry, Online Business Manager.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm so used to using these acronyms. But a friend of mine, she actually had this little course that she was offering for like $10, and she wanted feedback and all that different stuff. So helped her with that, because I know also she was a very good online project manager when she was doing it. So I was going to learn some things. Okay.
Right.
So in the midst of, one of the things she did was offer bonus calls with different people in different industries that she wanted to expose people to. Well, the lady who got on the call this past weekend was an actual certified project manager, like from the corporate aspect. Okay. Very good. I'm sorry. Let me get some water. She was very good as far as what she was sharing with us. But as she was talking to people about pursuing their certification in the project management field, you know, so that they have that for their resume and all that different stuff. And she was offering it at a very discounted rate. She was going to walk us through the process, all that different stuff. And it sounded so appealing. But then when I thought about it, I'm like, I never said I wanted to be a certified project manager. Like, I never said that. Yes. I know that even what I learned from her, even when I learned from our friend, she taught some very good things that will help me to go like that next step as far as what I'm doing online. But I never said that, if push come to shove, I had to go back to work. I wanted to do project management. And I know that that's not something that needs to be on my plate right now. Like right now, I don't need to study to be a certified PM. That's going to require time. That's going to require focus. And that's going to require me shifting from not only my client work, but also anything that I want to do as far as the Mom and Online CEO community. And that means that I'm no longer focused on, this is my little whiteboard right here. I'm no longer focused on the areas that I should have been focused on. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it is going to require a level of discipline, and that includes, new things that come across your path. So as things are popping in my inbox or as I'm scrolling my news feed, is this helping me to get to where I want to be? Now, I did invest in a membership course that helps you to learn how to grow as far as digital products is concerned. But look, that was one of the things that the Lord told me about, digital products. So that ties in. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's the difference between you staying focused on fulfilling the thing that's in front of you versus, having all these squirrel moments and stuff. So it's going to call on a level of discipline and being able to, what I like to call, flow in the know.
That's good. And so even when I'm hearing you say, there's going to be a lot of good things that come our way. But when you understand the plan, when you have a plan in place and you understand the end result of what that looks like, the goal, those good things, you have to look at them and put them up in light of, is this a good thing or a goal thing?
Exactly.
And if it's not a goal thing, in church we say, is this a good thing or a God thing? But in business, is this a good thing or a goal thing? Is this part of the goal? And if it's not, it may be good. It may be a great opportunity. It may be even something, yes, one day I might want to have that under my belt, but it's not going to be right now.
Not it. It's not in the right now.
That's so good. That's so good. I love, Akilah, you've given us so much because you taught us how to create a plan. You taught us now not only how to create the plan, but how to discern and decipher what's part of the plan and to stay focused. And that the discipline is not the cracking the whip of get back to work. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about staying on task for your goal, staying focused on the goal. And that part of being the discipline is having to say no to some things that might be good one day, but it's not good for right now.
Yeah.
And
that's why I think discipline. Even when it comes to our kids, they see, oh, mommy and daddy can come and go as they please. They can, spend whatever money it almost looks easy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When the truth of the matter is that there are a lot of things that we say no to so that we're able to say yes to the right things. You have to be able to have that, that balance when it comes to stuff like that. Even, we talk about getting healthy and losing weight. Well, if the goal,
let's not go there.
I know, right?
Come on now, the rest of us got quarantine babies.
That's the truth. But if the goal is to lose weight, then that cheesecake might not be the best option. You see what I'm saying?
Listen, I could talk myself into a cheesecake anytime. So I don't know that's the best example.
That's my thing. That's my thing. That's why I used it, because that right there, it hits me right here.
Oh my gosh. You're not kidding. Oh my God. Lord, Akilah, you have given us so much. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Awesome.
Thank you. How can people find you? What are the things you have going on right now? You've got your book. So how do they find the book?
Okay, so you can find the book at momandonlineceo.com/7 keys. That's the number 7, KEYS.
Okay.
Yes.
And is it mom and, meaning the ampersand, or mom and the word?
And you got to spell it out when, just spell it out. Mom, AND, onlineceo.com/7 7 keys.
And how about
Yes.
social media, your groups,
Okay,
what pages you have?
Depending upon where you are in business, if you are someone who is starting your business and want to get a little traction as far as getting it to grow and things of that nature, then I invite you to join us in the Mom and Online CEO community. You can find us in the Facebook group or at momandonlineceo.com. If you are someone who is to the point of growth to scale, then what you're probably looking to do is to be able to create systems and automate your business and really remove yourself from the day-to-day. That's where I come in on the online business manager side. Definitely reach out to me at akilahpitts.com. I'll be happy to work with you and assist you in any way, shape, or form that I can to really get you to the point where you are working on growing your business and scaling it instead of working in your business.
Awesome.
That is me.
Akilah, you're awesome. And I highly suggest if you fit in one of those categories, do it. Jump in. Don't even think twice. Get the book. It's so good. It's so worth it. It has really, I read it and I'm now going through it and doing the exercises.
Yes.
You know, I'm not, what is it? It's like the Rogaine from it. I'm not only the president, I'm also a client.
Yeah, I know. I'm also a client. Yeah.
You know, I'm in this and I want to help women, you know, increase their income by doing what they love and by claiming their purpose and putting it out there. But I'm doing it too. You know, every time I have stepped out, every time, we're going to talk more about this tomorrow. There's a great segue to introduce tomorrow's video 4, and we're going to be talking about execute your potential. And it's really about stepping out in faith, taking action, you know, and not procrastinating and overcoming fears and excuses. And every time I have stepped out, taken one step, and an opportunity comes through, again, you know, deciding and discerning what is good versus what is the goal. And whenever you side with your purpose and you stepped into your position of purpose, it does nothing but accelerate you and promote you and increase you, and you move forward in life. And so it's really important that if you're going to rise, you not only reclaim your power, ignite your purpose, and strategize your plan, but you also need to execute, because all of that means nothing if you just sit on it and become fat on it, you know, right? It's like, we're not here to just sit and eat. We have to eventually step out and exercise the things that we're working out in ourselves. And so, Akilah, I'm so grateful that you were here tonight. Thank you so much. You're such a blessing. Hopefully we can get you on again one day and do more videos. That would be fun. Yeah, but awesome. In the meantime, get on one of her pages. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. I'm going to go ahead and close us out in prayer.
Okay.
And then we'll wrap it up. So awesome. Heavenly Father, I just thank you, God. I thank you for Akilah. I thank you for the wisdom and the insight that she has shared today. She's given us so much good nugget, Father. And so, Lord, I thank you for you speaking to us and giving us direction and insight to where we need to be, what we need to tweak, what we need to shift and pivot in our own lives, oh God, so that we can get to where you want us to be, for the plans and the greater plans that you have for us, for the blessings that you have for each woman that's listening to this video, oh God. And I thank you, Lord, that you, by your grace, will get us there, Father. So, Lord, I bless every person under the sound of my voice. I declare and decree that they will be, you bring the blessings that make them rich and add no sorrow to it, Father. So we ask you these things. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you so much, Akilah. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you, Lioness, for sticking with us. We'll see you tomorrow on video 4.